Hey there, Kipsters. We're looking at objective 3B.1, which is about graphing points. Something that's going to be really important for something we are going to do in algebra a lot, which is graphing lines and later on curves. So in order to graph a point, we're going to be graphing really coordinate pairs. A pair is two things, and a coordinate pair are two numbers that give you information about one point. And that will always be in this format. In parentheses, you will always have the x value of that point first, the y value of that point second. So in terms of what this looks like on the graph, you know that your x-axis is the axis that goes from left to right, that is horizontal, and the y-axis is the axis that goes from top to up to down, which is vertical. Let's start with just kind of naming our quadrants so that we're able to talk about the points. Our first quadrant starts up here in the top right-hand corner, and then it goes counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. So this enables us to talk about where points are. So what I want to do is just label a couple of points, and then give us some better practice finding them. So first, I'm going to put a couple dots and identify what those points are. This point right here, which is 3 on my x-axis and 2 on my y-axis, I'll label accordingly. My x value is 3, my y value is 2, and that's how I label that point. This point right here, which is 1 on my x-axis, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at -5 on my y-axis, I'd label as 1, because that's my y value, comma, -5, because that's my x value. And that's how I'd label that point. A second skill is going from now the point, or the coordinate pair, to actually the dot. So let's say I want to graph the point -2, make it a little easier to see. If I want to graph the point -2, comma, 4, I would go -2 on my x-axis, and then up to 4 on my y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here, which is at 4. And this dot is at -2, 4, in quadrant 2, as you can see. Last one, if I have a point like -1, comma, -3, I'll do my x value first, which means I go to -1 on my x-axis, then I got to go down to -3 on my y-axis, and -1, comma, -3 is right there in quadrant 3, as you can see. So that's the introduction to new material, or the review of old material. Now it's time for guided practice. I'd like you to, on your paper, please label the following points. So we'll call this point A, we'll call this point B, this point C, this is point D, right there, E, F, and G. Please label these 7 points. Press play when you're ready to check your answers for how you would write the coordinate pairs for all 7. Okay, you've tried to label them, so now it's time to check. This first one, A, is at 4 on my x-axis and at 2 on my y-axis, so it should have been 4, comma, 2. The second one, B, is actually right in the middle. It's at the origin. And the origin is right in the middle of both axes, which makes the point 0, comma, 0. I need to try again. This is getting a little slow. 0, comma, 0. Hopefully that fixes by the next one. C, which is a little further out, is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my x-axis, and at 1, 2, 3, 4, -4 on my y-axis. So the point for C would have been 5, comma, negative 4. That x value coming first. Second, or next is D. It is on my x-axis, so my point here should have been negative 3, comma, 0. E, which is at negative 4 on my x-axis and at 4 on my y-axis, would have been at the point negative 4, comma, 4. And I have 2 more to check. The smartboard is getting a little slow on me. F would have been at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at negative 6, and my y value down 2 is at negative 2. That would have been F. Then last one, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's at negative 4 on my x-axis, so it would have been negative 4. And at 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5 on my y-axis would have been negative 4, comma, negative 5. Sorry, smartboard's being a little slow with me. Hopefully you got those correct. Now it's a chance to check independently. So here's your independent practice. I would like you to identify these 5 points, writing the coordinate pairs for these 5 points. If you label these 5 points correctly, you should be ready to take Objective Assessment 3B.1. Good luck.